All right, the finance guru Dan Geltrude is with us, and the president gave high kudos to some lawmakers this week as a $4 trillion budget passed the House. Some analysts are saying this will lead to massive deficits. What is the finance guru Dan Geltrude's opinion about this $4 trillion budget passed by the House?
It passed, King, with no Democratic support. Plus, there were 20 Republicans that voted no. So it was a pretty narrow margin in which this budget was passed. And let's take a look at that. Now, the Republicans that voted no were really voting against aspects of tax reform, which is now going to follow the budget process. Very specifically, those lawmakers are very concerned about the possible loss of state and local tax deductions, and you and I have already talked about that. So I think those votes, at least by the Republicans, were symbolic that the budget was going to pass. They knew they had the votes, and that was going to go through without too much horse trading at that point. I think more of the news here, King, is what's going to happen in the next step of tax reform, and will it pass? Yes, I think it will pass. What will it look like? Don't know, because there's still a lot of details to come. So we're going to have to wait and see in the next week or so when the committee releases the details of the plan. But let me also go back and say, in the budget, there are spending cuts that are going to take place over the next 10 years that certainly the Democrats are very upset about, and probably a lot of other people will be, because there's going to be cuts to Medicaid, Medicare, and also Obamacare in general. And I don't think we should be surprised by that one, because the dismantling of Obamacare is, if the president can't get the votes, ultimately through budgetary means and executive orders, Obamacare is going to end up being a shell, and in my opinion, he'll have to force Congress to act. But going back to the budget issue here, in the end, all of this is going to come down on one big economic gamble, and that relates to tax reform. And here are the questions that are going to be answered. Will the tax cuts spur the economy further? Will people spend more if they have more money in their pockets as a result of tax reform? And most importantly, are more people going to get back to work, therefore increasing our tax-paying base to pay for the proposed tax cuts? Now, if the answer to those questions turns out to be yes, it's great news for everybody. If the answer to those questions turn out to be no, then I think the answer here is, in short order, the Democrats will have control of the Senate, the House, and ultimately the White House if it doesn't work. So that's where I come down on the budget.